Dragonix.
Hello guys, welcome to the third episode of beta bossing in Runescape with DragonixRS. This time we're going to Barrows Brothers. Hey guys, so we're at the Barrows Brothers here. I'm using a Mage setup because that's what you'd normally use for most of Barrows, well the four melee brothers. I have the ancient spells, as you can see there. I'm using Ice Rush or Ice Blitz or whatever to stun, and I'm using the others so I can heal up slightly while I'm actually doing damage. So this is my setup. I'm using Arums because I can't wear Ganodermic. I have an aura set up, and I'm ready to go to Darok's. Okay, so I'm at Darok's burial chamber thing, and I'm about to summon him up. Okay, I have my Blood Rush or Blitz on autocast, so I can heal a little while I'm fighting him. And Mage seems to be really accurate. It's hitting nice hits, but I'm on my basic ability still. Hopefully the thresholds will hit a lot higher. Got him stunned, moved back. I have my protect melee on. Using my basic abilities. Apparently the threshold abilities for Mage is really strong. I'm sure it'll prove useful here. And there's some decent combos. And now the stun's over, he's coming up. Wow. Darok hits really hard, even through protect melee. You should take note of that. Wow, he's hitting 1Ks through the protection pair, so without the protection pair, it could be extremely dangerous. And that's Darok. Okay, so here we are at Guthin the Infested. So, just like Darok, he is a melee brother, so magic should be really effective against him, especially after they revamp the combat triangle. And from what I can see, it's doing a fair bit of damage. It starts off slow, just like it did with Darok, but it tends to speed up faster, so I'm assuming Guthin has lower defense. Now that I'm in the threshold abilities, I'm hitting a lot higher. I got him stunned and then used Torture, and I'm gonna just finish him off with my ultimate. Ultimate's a really good finisher, especially for Darok. In this case, I did miss, but for Darok, if you want to avoid a lot of his endgame damage, you should just use the ultimate to finish him off. Another thing you can do is just use Regenerate, and I'm sorry for the lag, at the end of every battle with the remaining adrenaline you have to heal up most of the weaker fights, or if it's a stronger fight, just for some extra HP. So that's all there is to Guthin. So here I am at Thor Egg. He's another melee brother. He's supposed to have weaker damage than the rest, but he just poked an 885 at me. That's equivalent to like an 80 in the real game, I'd assume. So again, he's weak to magic. He seems to be weaker to magic than the others. I mean, this battle is going by fairly fast. All my mage moves seem to be hitting harder on him. Again, I'm trying to maintain a little HP with Blood Rush, or Blood Fire is what it's now called. Switching to Asphyxiate, some other threshold abilities. It's a fairly quick fight. With Mage, it should be really simple, and it's just as easy, if not easier, than the live game. That's all for Thor Egg. So now I'm going to fight Burak. So in the live game, Burak has always been a pain because he could pierce through prayer, but now since all of them can do that, he doesn't seem as special. Like, I mean, he had a 500 at the beginning, but Thor Egg even hit higher, and Darok could like pummel a lot more than that. But even then, he's a melee brother, he's weak to magic again. It's a fairly quick fight. He seems to be poking through my prayer a lot more often, so I guess that's what his special ability is. But again, magic just tears him, finishing him off with a special. I'm trying to keep a distance, like I'm gonna stun him, run away, and use my moves from a farther distance, just to save a little supplies. And there goes Varrock. Okay, so now I'm at Kirill. Uh, it was Ranger, so I brought melee weapons to switch to because melee's supposed to be strong against it. Since I'm using melee, it's actually going faster than the Magic or Melee Brothers. Just a couple basic threshold, and then I don't even think I used an ultimate in this fight, and it died. Just protect from range, and most of its damage was blocked off. Uh, Kirill used to be a hard brother. Now he seems like one of the easiest. That's all. Okay, so now comes the longer and more interesting part of Barrows. Uh, well, we're in the cave, just trying to find the door. I have melee set up for Aram, but apparently, even like melee is not good against mage armor anymore. So I might have to switch to magic halfway if it's true. I'm just gonna like test melee first. Uh, if neither prove effective, then I'd say to bring a ranged weapon. But even if melee doesn't work, I'm sure magic will do something. It just might be a little slower kill than the others. So I found the door. After I kill a bloodworm, I'll go through. So far, I think that Barrows as a whole, it got harder, but it actually takes less time in my opinion than before. Actually, I'd say equal time, but it did get harder because each monster, each brother is taking up more supplies than it did before. Uh, it's less prayer reliant than before, and it's more food reliant. The runes you spend, like if you're using magic, could be expensive, but there's probably other builds you can use. I'd recommend to just stun and stay away to conserve as much HP as possible. So here's Aram, the Mage Barrows brother. So as you can see, melee is not like doing good at all. It's missing very often, and it's just not good against him. So apparently what's said about melee versus magic is true. Even though magic used to be really weak to melee, like damage armor wise, now it seems to be able to absorb it. So just protecting, renewing, bringing back my prayer. I'm probably going to switch to magic shortly. And my ultimate missed. That's great. So melee's absolutely horrible against Aram. So I'm going to switch to magic. Switching to my ancient magics. And there's a skeleton behind it. The area effect will probably kill it anyways, like the dragon fire and such. So, so far, from what I can see, you only need a melee weapon for Kirill, sorry. A ranged weapon for Aram, some boosting pots, prayer renewal, a little bit of prayer, and a lot more food than you did before. Unless you're going to stun. If you're going to stun, then I'm assuming you'd last here longer, so you need a little less food and a little more prayer. As for the tunnels, I honestly didn't see as many monsters as there were before, and even though it's multi-combat, they weren't piling me, so I'm assuming the tunnels got slightly easier because they saw that maybe when you were trying to go through the door, like monsters kept disturbing it, and that was really annoying before. But I'm glad that some of the rooms don't have monsters anymore, and that they don't pile you like they could, considering it's multi-combat. And I mean, even if they did, since you have abilities that can stun for all three combat styles now, it shouldn't be much of a problem. You can just stun them and then proceed. So now that Aram's dead, just gonna loot the chest. As a whole, I think Barrows got a little more challenging, but I think that's the way it should be. Like, Barrows armor is really good, some of the best in the game, and I think that prices deserve to rise and that it should be worth a little more than it is right now. So, as a whole, Barrows did get a little harder, and it should have, and that's all. Have a nice day.